Pneuma, Breath of Life is a puzzle game that focuses too much on its narrative of critiquing video games and the role of the player in video games rather than focusing on its puzzles. Yes, Pneuma is a puzzle game. It has puzzles. Some of them are actually pretty okay. But the game seems far more interested in basically retelling 2011's The Stanley Parable than doing anything to make a real name for itself. You won't feel smart solving most of these puzzles. You'll feel more of a dull resentment towards whoever designed them. The logic behind some of these puzzles is just baffling. It's like they expected you to be able to read the designer's mind when solving some of these things. The main aspect of most of the puzzles in Pneuma are these robotic eyes placed within the levels. The problem with the eyes is that their use in the puzzles is never consistent. Are you supposed to look at them to solve the puzzle? Are you supposed to not look at them? It's absolutely arbitrary, and there's no real way of knowing what the answer is unless you exhaust every last option available to you. Even the puzzles without the eyes suffer from the same arbitrary logic. There's this one puzzle that really got me stuck for a while, and you basically have to recreate the tiled pictures you see on the wall, and you're supposed to transpose it onto the floor. But you're actually supposed to put the picture on the wall onto the opposite room's floor. I don't know why they did it like this, because for the longest time I thought you're supposed to, like, make it inverse on the floor, which would have made more sense. But I don't know. I don't know. It was really dumb. It was really dumb, and it's one of those things where it's one of the last puzzles you have to do, and nothing has told you up to this point that, oh yeah, I got to do it in the opposite room. Why would you even think that? Why would that be a thing? To be fair, there's actually a couple of puzzles that I did like. I liked the puzzle with the laser. I thought that was pretty fun. I liked the puzzle where you had to make the towers connect to each other. I thought that was pretty cool. I liked the puzzle with the little lightning orb that you had to follow around. Those were pretty fun. There's also another orb puzzle that I liked. I won't give the solution at all. It's really fun. I like those ones. There's this one puzzle. This puzzle right here. Fuck this puzzle.
This makes more sense than discrete.
Did I mention the narrator by any chance?
All ideas
Did I mention that guy?
but the mechanics discrete.
Cool guy?
Though, quite clearly, I'm busy doing all this god stuff. Walking about, thinking about stuff, solving problems, inventing problems to solve.
Pneuma is a game that loves the sound of its own voice. You can almost feel this game just patting itself on the back. I'm just so witty and clever. It's actually really obnoxious if you haven't kind of seen for yourself. Especially when you're trying to solve a puzzle and this guy just won't shut up.
Maybe I'd make her in my image. That would be amazing. Two of me. Oh, we'd have so much in common. I'd quite like her to be lively. First, she'd have to be alive. Being alive is somewhat a prerequisite for being lively.
Okay, I think you've had enough. Now I really want to talk about what really bothered me about this game. Near the end of the game, it's revealed, I should mention right off the bat, that the narrator this entire time has believed that he is a god, that he has created everything in front of him, and he's been solving these puzzles out of his own amusement almost. He narrates constantly, and he's a bit full of himself. As the game progresses, he begins to question whether or not he is actually in control of this world, if he is actually a god. And it's revealed at the end of the game, basically, that he is not a god, that he is actually just a pawn, and you, the player, have been controlling him the entire time, against his own will. Near the end of the game, he tries breaking free of your control, and it doesn't work, and you're leading him down a path, and you know, you've kind of seen this before in other games. Like all games that critique the role of the player in video games, the game begins to ask you why you're doing the things you're doing, kind of accusing you of being a creep for playing a game, for being in control of this person, for watching them, for basically being a pervert and a slave owner. The narrator eventually says this.
No. Did you pay your price for your slave? You deserve to control me. Is it your right? Is it? Go on, tell me, what was my price? You stand there in the distance, I can see it now. I cannot see your face, but I feel you like a rushing wind. You guide my steps.
Now, as someone who's played video games, I've been accused of a lot of things while playing games. I mean, Spec Ops The Line asked me why I didn't stop. Hotline Miami asked me if I enjoyed hurting people. But never have I had a game admonish me for buying it. If the game is implying I'm a virtual slave owner for purchasing the game, if I'm a pervert for playing it, what exactly does that make the developer? Deco Digital had no problem making this game, had no problem releasing this game to the public, and also had no problem charging $20 for it. So I asked Deco Digital, why exactly am I the bad guy? Games that have criticized the role of the player, that's a tired concept at this point, and it's just frustrating seeing that this new developer has come up with such a derivative idea. And honestly, I don't know if I'd want to support a developer that has such a low opinion of its own players.